Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Dan Dusing, and previously I uploaded a YouTube video called Best Accessories for DSLR Filmmaking Part 1. This is going to be Part 2 of that series because I just got some new gear and I want to share it with you guys and make some recommendations. Let's get to it. The first accessory I'm going to be covering today is going to be an LED light. This one's made by Bestcore, but any LED light will actually do you really well, especially if you're a filmmaker or anyone just making videos in general. If you're not sure of the lighting, if you don't have your own lighting, or you're not sure if you're going to be able to set up lighting at your location, you can grab one of these fairly inexpensive LEDs. This was around $60. I don't remember the exact model number, but I'll include a link below. It has a minimum slider, so this is the min. This is the max. It goes up pretty high, especially for low light. This does really well. It also came with a different color slider, a different color gel, if you will. If you slide this one out, holding the button, comes with a clear one and this orange one. The orange one I use a lot if I'm going to be using it to light a person. Reacts really well with skin tones. Probably not able to see it there, but it reacts really well. I would really recommend this one, or any LED light is really going to do you justice if you're a filmmaker, if you're anyone making videos in general. And this particular model by Bestcore runs on AA batteries, and so you can put it on your camera if your camera has a shoe at the top, which most of them do nowadays, and it'll run as it won't run off the camera's battery life, basically, because it has the AA's, it won't run off the camera battery life. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but that's a really unique feature. And as you can see, yeah, it shines really bright. It'll help you a lot on shoots. I really recommend to anyone in film or just making YouTube videos or whatever, just to grab an LED light, and it'll really make your videos look a lot better. Besides tripods and monopods, it's really important to have support for your DSLR cameras. Because they're so lightweight, you want to make sure that they're either on a tripod or on a rig such as this. This is the shoulder rig from ICANN. And it actually looks really nice. I'm going to start recording on this so you can see how level it is. I'm just going to hold it still for you. And this is footage from it right now. I'm talking, which is why it's moving, but hold on. And that's pretty steady for just holding it like that. I'll do a pan around the room for you guys. And it looks pretty nice. As you can tell from the footage I just showed you guys, this shoulder rig does get the job done very quickly and easily. For $90 you get this ICANN shoulder rig. Again, I'm not sponsored by anyone, I'm just trying to make recommendations for you guys who might just be starting out filmmaking on DSLR cameras. I'm going to put a link to this in the description box below. There are nicer ones, but it depends on your budget. This was around $90. I've seen ones for a couple hundred to even over $1,000. But it depends on your budget, depends on what you're looking for. This is something definitely great to start out on though. Let's go to the next one. A more advanced accessory I would recommend for filmmakers would be a follow focus system for your DSLR camera. This really works out very well. This is not a gear-based one. Gear-based follow focus systems are nicer, but they also cost around $800–900. This was around $220. I'll include a link below. I also did a setup tutorial on how to set this whole thing up, and I did a review of it. If you'll click on the screen right now, that leads to that video that I've done on my channel. Besides that, it comes with a white charcoal pencil so you can mark different points. Basically, it shifts your focus. This goes against the lens, shifts your focus. If you view my video of how to set it up and everything, I explain it much better, but this is just another great accessory to have for DSLR filmmaking. A nice accessory to have for DSLR filmmaking or any filmmaking in general is going to be what's called a sandbag. When you order it or buy it in the store, it's going to be completely empty. I actually have nuts and bolts in here that are pretty heavy. You can put sand in here, really anything that will weigh this down, and you want to put it around the base of your tripod to ensure that if it is a little light, or even if it's not a light tripod, even if it is pretty sturdy, you want to usually do this just to ensure that no one knocks it over while on set, because depending on your rig you could lose a lot of money depending on what's on it, and it's just good to have it on there. Most batteries for DSLR cameras do not last that long. Because of this, the next accessory that I recommend is a battery grip. It will store 2 of your batteries on this slate that goes in here, lock it, and you're set. This goes into the bottom of your camera, and I'll show you that really quick. And basically, you know, this obviously doubles your battery length because you have 2 batteries in there. You're going to have to switch less often. This one actually came with another slider that has double A's, or slots for double A's to go on. As you can see, it takes 6 double A's. I actually have never used this, so I'm not sure how long that lasts, but that's in case after these 2 batteries, or say you have 2 more and you pop them in there and then you slide it back in and go again. Once they're all out, you can use this pretty much as a desperate measure if you are out of batteries. So let me show you how to connect this. It's really simple. No matter what camera you have, you're going to have to take off the door right here that closes for the battery. So you can put this in. Lock it down by turning a knob in the back, and once it's all the way down, you can feel that it won't go anymore, and it's locked in. You have your battery grip on top, or you have your DSLR camera on top of your battery grip. This is very handy, like I said, for long shoots. Unfortunately, it will not work with some filmmaking accessories, such as the follow focus system I showed you guys before. As you can see, when the camera sits on top of it, the wheel does not line up to the focus ring because it sits too low. So that's a drawback to either the follow focus system or battery grips. But usually when you're using the follow focus system, you're not going to use a battery grip anyways. Just because most rigs you don't have battery grips on. But this is really good if you are going to be doing handheld footage, because this adds a lot of weight onto it. I mean, it's not super heavy, but DSLR cameras are fairly light to begin with. So if you are going to be filming like this, you don't have a tripod or a monopod, this actually stabilizes it pretty good, just having this extra battery grip on it. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better than without it. Most battery grips are going to have an on and off switch back here, and then this is mainly for photographers. When you're holding the camera vertical, you can use the tools back here that are like the shutter right there and the zooming in without having to mess with the other controls actually on the camera. So that's the battery grip, and like I said, that is very useful if you're going to go on long shoots, and you can even have it on a tripod, and you don't have to worry about taking the battery out from below the camera like you would normally, because this just slides out the side. Sorry about that. This just slides out the side. So you're able to replace batteries very quickly without even taking your camera off your tripod. That about does it for the battery grip. On to the next accessory. One of the best DSLR accessories that you can get once you've been recording for a while and you understand your camera more and you think that you might need it, and maybe even when you do need it, is going to be a variable ND filter. I showed you ND filters in the last video, but those were just standard and not very good. The reason that this is much better is because this has an arm right here that you can control how much light goes in. If you guys can see that, I'll bring it a little closer. I know I'm out of focus, but there you can see how much light you control going into the lens. This is very good. This is required, I should say, if you want to shoot shallow depth of field outside on a sunny day, or even when there's snow, because you're able to block out the light and you're able to bring your f-stops down, your aperture down all the way to how low your lens goes, and then you're able to shoot shallow depth of field outside in bright conditions. This is needed for that. Otherwise, you're going to have to crank your aperture and make everything in focus. You're not going to have any depth of field without one of these. I bought this at a 77mm size. I did that because I don't want to have to buy one of these expensive filters. It was around $150 for every lens that I have, depending on the thread size. So this is thread size 77, and with that I bought some step down rings right here, as you can see, depending on what size. Right here I have a 58 to 77, which is exactly what I need just for the kit lens on this Canon T3i. For a 35 millimeter that I have and a 50 millimeter, it's a 52 millimeter thread size. So for that, you need to buy one of those step down rings, which I have. So this is the step down ring. You want to turn it to the left first to make sure it's on the right track, because you don't want to strip the tracks. And as soon as I get this in here, we'll be good to go. Just keep going. You don't want to make this super tight. I've done that before and it's super hard to get off of your camera. As you can see, it is now attached to the lens. It's super hard to get off the lens if you tighten it a lot. So take the variable ND, and now because it opened the thread size now to 77, you want to go left first, like I said, so you're not stripping the thread. And this might take you a couple tries, but once you get it, it should sound something like that. And you want to go slow. You don't want to strip the thread. Like I said, you gotta be careful with expensive accessories, obviously. Again, don't go too tight on this. You'll know it's okay because if you keep going, it'll just turn the focus. So then you know that you're good to go. And now it's set up like this. And you can control how much goes in. It is spinning the lens, which is generally not supposed to happen, so I might have to tighten that down a little bit. And there you go. You can control how much light comes in. And now I'm going to go to some test footage that I'm going to take right now of with and without this filter, shallow depth of field. So I'm going to bring this kit lens all the way down to 3.5 on the aperture, which is the lowest it goes. And then I'm going to put the filter on, and we'll see what it looks like. So as you can see, as the results from that, with the aperture all the way down without this variable ND on, you are going to have a completely blown out picture. You're not going to be able to see anything. The whites are going to be so strong that it's going to be hard to look at, and you're not even going to get any decent footage at all. So pretty much you need this for shallow depth of field outside. As a beginning filmmaker, if that's what you're going to be shooting, then I recommend this to you. If not, I would hold back on this right away because it is a more expensive accessory. This next one is used by photographers and filmmakers alike because this is actually a remote control for your camera to allow it to do things that you normally cannot do in camera, such as take a picture every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. This is an intervivular. I know I said that totally wrong, but what they call it, it's by the brand name of Vello, V-E-L-L-O, Shutter Boss. If you look that up, you'll find it. There's a lot of different models of it. Basically, I'll show you how it plugs in, and I'll go into it a little bit. It goes into your accessory slot right here, above the microphone slot on the Canon T3i. Just plugs into the side, and then you're all set, and then you can control the settings on here. I'm actually going to do a tutorial on how to do a time-lapse in a couple weeks, but for now I'll just say that this allows you to set your exposure for however long you want. It allows you to you can tell it when to take a picture whenever you want, every 3 minutes, every 5 minutes. This is basically like if you ever have seen clouds going really fast, that's called a time-lapse, in case you're not familiar with that. Yeah, and this really can do a lot of cool things. So I'm going to do a tutorial on that later on, but it's a really handy accessory to have if you want to do some time lapses. As I just mentioned, it's required to have a variable ND filter if you want to shoot shallow depth of field outside. Going with this when it's bright out, the sun is going to glare at your screen and you're not going to be able to see much. In fact, most of the time when shooting outside, it's going to be really hard to see what's in focus and what's not in focus. Because of this, I recommend the LCD Viewfinder to you guys. I'll include a link once again, as I do with all the video products that I recommend to you guys. I'll include it in the description box below. Once you put a magnetic frame around this, you are able to snap it on. I have it on the camera that I'm shooting with right now, so I'm not able to show it to you guys, but it'll snap on like that, and then you are able to see through it, and plus it looks pretty professional, and you'll look good to your clients or anyone who's watching you. So that does it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed all the new products that I got, because I know I'm definitely enjoying them. Please subscribe for more tutorials every Monday and skits every Friday. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, guys. Please rate the video, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.